1. Open the government. Democrats cave. Democrats yell sellout. Democrats rise and drive up the price of everything, from health care to education. Everything touched by the government. 2. Ken Burns says there's a news desert in small-town America without PBS and NPR. And our old friend, Texas State Senator, running for U.S. Senate, James Tallarico, loves him some honky-tonk angel. With Jack Posobiec. 3. Donald Trump has said that Christians are being annihilated in Nigeria, and we discussed that with Congressman Riley Moore. It is Will Cain country on a Monday back home in Texas. Ed, Tinfoil Pat, 2 Days Dan, got the whole crew along with you here, the Willisha. Drop into the comments section at the Will Cain Country YouTube channel. We're going to bring you in to Will Cain Country. But let's get started with the reopening of the United States government. Story number 1. Back open and open for business. Democrats have caved. The needed 5 sane Democrats seem to have seen the light after flight delays and the expiration of an election day last Tuesday, and they have voted to reopen the United States government. That, of course, is not going over well with the base. That, of course, is not going over well with the rest of Democrats who have taken to X and posted as such. Governor J.B. Pritzker, this is not a deal. It's an empty promise. Trump and his Republican Congress are making health care more expensive for middle class and ending it for working families. Time for Democrats to stand tall for affordable health care. Governor Gavin Newsom of California posts pathetic. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says the average monthly SNAP benefit is $177 a person. The average ACA benefit is up to $550 a person a month. People want us to hold the line for a reason. This is not a matter of appealing to a base. It's about people's lives. Working people want leaders whose words mean something. Complete cave, pathetic, surrender, say the Democrats about Democrats like John Fetterman, Democrats like Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, by the way, was asked why now he can focus on the government shutdown. He said, well, my focus before was on the elections in Virginia. Pretty callous, pretty calculated, pretty honest about why this government shutdown took place in the first place. AOC and J.B. Pritzker would tell you it is about health care. They want the Obamacare subsidies extended through COVID with a sunset date written into the law to be extended. And they argue if those Obamacare subsidies are not extended, then the price of health care on average Americans will go up. They are the ones concerned about the price of health care. Like Ronald Reagan famously said, they are from the government knocking on your door and they are here to help. And that should make you very, very afraid. Because everything the Democrats and everything the government touches simply gets more expensive. This was laid out perfectly by a man on TikTok and Instagram, and I thought this is something that you had to hear. You have to hear this. You ever wonder why gigantic flat screens get more affordable every year? LASIK eye surgery gets less expensive, but everything else in healthcare gets more expensive? Listen to my man on TikTok and Instagram.
You can get a plumber to your house in the middle of the night within an hour. But if you go to the ER, you could wait 6 hours. Why? The federal government never tried to make plumbing affordable and accessible. You can buy an 85-inch television for $1,000, but a dialysis machine costs $30,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make televisions affordable and accessible. You can get LASIK surgery done for $1,500 because it's not covered by Medicare or Medicaid, because it's elective. But if you get a major surgery, it could cost you $100,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make LASIK affordable and accessible. Socialism is killing every industry it touches.
Burt Kellerman on TikTok lays out that everything the government decides to make affordable, everything the government subsidizes, everything the government gets involved in within the economy gets more expensive. This was laid out as well perfectly on X and Instagram with stats from the Bureau of Labor Statistics compiled by Mark J. Perry. Price changes, January 2000 to December 2024, select U.S. consumer goods and services. It shows where prices stood normalized in 2020 and how much they've gone up or down percentage-wise over the ensuing quarter of a century. Overall inflation, by the way, over that time period, has stood at 87 cumulative 0.3%. So, what has gone up above the rate of inflation? Well, hospital services are up 256%, subsidized by the government. College tuition and fees up 188%, subsidized by the government. College textbooks up 158%, subsidized by the government. Child care and nursery school up 147%. Medical care services up 138%. The average hourly wage up 123%, subsidized by the government. Housing up 104%. Subsidized by the government. What has seen price increases or decreases lower than the rate of inflation? Well, new cars are only up 25% over a quarter century. House furnishings up 17%. Clothing, 1%. Now things that have gone down in price. Cell phone services, down 41%. Computer software, down 74%. And TVs, down 99%. Over a quarter century. Pretty clear delineation on what goes up and what comes down. What, when made more affordable, quote unquote, more affordable, becomes more expensive. And what is ignored and let played out in the market actually becomes accessible and affordable. And yet Democrats today say they wanted to shut down the government to fight for your health care. In fact, as part of this compromise with Republicans, there will be a vote, a promised vote within the next year to extend the ACA subsidies. That vote will fail. Republicans won't vote for the extension of those services, but Democrats will continue to fight and campaign on the idea that they are for affordable health care, because handing out money is the easiest promise to explain, even when that money goes to the benefit of the insurance company. And even if over a quarter century, for that matter, over half a century, the evidence shows you that's not what happens when the government gets involved in a market. Prices go up. Leave it to the market, prices go down. But of course, that's not easy to explain compared to, I'm going to give you a subsidy. The most compelling one in that entire TikTok from Burt Kellerman is LASIK eye surgery, an elective surgery, not covered by Medicare and Medicaid, not covered, therefore, forced coverage into insurance. And it gets more affordable and more easily accessible year in, year out. This is the facts. That's simply the facts. The facts are sometimes hard to sell. The Democrats have their selling point, and they have their reason for a government shutdown. They also have their villain. It is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Dead man walking. Zombie. You will soon now have a turnover of the oldest among Democrats. We've seen the expiration of 85-year-old Nancy Pelosi. She walks out rich. She walks out having made a fortune. We'll soon see the expiration of Chuck Schumer. Let's break down the riches of Nancy Pelosi and the exploits of our old friend James Tallarico, who likes to follow porn stars, OnlyFans stars, like Honky Tonk Angel on social media, with Human Events' Jack Posobiec coming up on Will Cain Country. The latest from Charlie Kirk assassination trial with Human Events' Jack Posobiec. It is Will Cain Country, streaming live at the Will Cain Country YouTube channel, but always available by following on Apple or on Spotify. You guys remember James Tallarico? James Tallarico is described as a rising star in the Democrat Party. That's most notably because he's had an appearance on Joe Rogan. James Tallarico is a faith-forward state senator, Democrat in the state of Texas. And he's running for United States Senate. He's running against Colin Allred for the Democratic nomination to run against John Cornyn and or Ken Paxton and or Wesley Hunt. And Tallarico's 36 years old.
My age.
And is that right? He's
Yeah.
the same age as you, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to get the oligarchs out of politics. He wants to get, he wants to bring faith back to Democrats, integrity. He was on the Will Cain show, you'll remember, some months back. Very few people get under my skin, but this dude got under my skin.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably worth its own psychoanalysis.
Yes,
Why did it
it
get
is.
under my skin so much? But, it's because, like, everything is a tempest in a teapot. Nothing lasts very long. But this certainly went viral. I mean, the Brooklyn Brunch crew brought it up. Everybody loved it. It went all over. How about this? It wasn't it was on Facebook. When you go viral on Facebook, you know you've really broken through, I feel
Boomers.
like. You know, viral on X is a tempest in a teapot. Instagram's a little bigger. When you start hearing about I saw you on TikTok, you're like, oh, yeah, that's pretty. And then once they get to Facebook comments, you're like, damn it, everybody's grandma knows about this too. Everybody knows about this. And it's because we had him on the Will Cain show, and he asked me a rhetorical question. The rhetorical question was, and I certainly considered it rhetorical, what was the question? If Republican policies are so popular, why do they need to redistrict, basically? That was what it was. Why are they needing to do that? And, I responded, by the way. I said, I think the popularity of Republican policies are pretty well evident in the fact that Donald Trump won every single swing state, the popular vote. Republicans took the House, Republicans took the Senate. I think that's pretty good evidence of the popularity of Republican policies. The interview went on for like 10 minutes, and
Which is long for TV, by the way.
super long.
Yeah.
Just
so
I got
everyone
the
knows.
rap in my ear easily 3 times. Easily. So people always wonder about these things, right? This thing that you wear in your ear when you're on TV. Well, I get very little stuff. I certainly don't get facts. It's too hard. There's too much going on. You can't have, a full conversation or people rattling facts off in your ear at the same time you're having an interview or at the same time you're talking. So the main thing I get is time. 90 seconds, 1 minute. A TV show has to be boom, 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 right? So I ignored it consciously, and I know what I'm doing when that happens. I know that I'm compromising the rest of the show. There's a guest after that who may or may not make the show. It's going to be after super fast. And then gets to a certain point where I'm like, now I'm compromising the potential for a commercial break, and that's bad. And everybody's like, oh, but you have to have a certain number of commercial breaks, pretty much.
I've been in that control room when that happens. It's intense.
When I do that?
Yeah, it's intense.
When I start ignoring time cues?
Yeah.
Yeah. What, they all start cussing me?
No, they don't. It's just it's very stressful.
Yeah. Well, so the long and short of it, when Tallarico was on, I ignored it 3 times probably. Like, I literally got the rap, and then they're like, okay, well, it's going to go a little longer, so maybe another minute and a half go, and they go, need to wrap here. And I went for another. And so my style of doing this stuff is to say it out loud, like for the audience and for the audience. Hey, listen, I've gotten wrapped 3 times. I'm up against it. So I said all that out loud. And so I told him at some point I got to go. But even after I said I got to go, we rounded back around the corner and joked about something. I can't remember what it was. He brought up
It was food.
something like, let's have breakfast tacos together.
Yeah, it was food, yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yep.
Or wherever the best breakfast taco is, and something like that. Long and short of it was fine, cordial interview, back and forth. He took that to social media, and he edited it up and said that I ran from his question. He edited it so that he asked me that rhetorical question, then it jumped cuts to me going, I gotta go, and the headline scream Fox News host quickly cuts to break on this devastating question asked by the integrity-filled, faith-forward preacher from Central Texas, James Tallarico. Okay? And I'm like, well, that's not very preacherly. That's not very honest. That's not somebody that I feel like
And then
is,
everyone became a TV expert after that.
full of integrity. Yeah.
Online.
So anyway, that's my history with James Tallarico. And then I twisted off on him for, being fraudulent and lying and all that. Well, we got some news about James Tallarico over the weekend. So according to Axios, here's the headline. Faith-forward Texas Senate candidate follows porn actors, escorts on Instagram. Ooh. Nice, preacher.
God, I like the story.
Pastor, if I might. Nice seminary student. Bringing faith back to the Democrats. It goes on. Alex Thompson says, new, James Tallarico follows several adult performers, escorts, and OnlyFans models on Instagram, according to Axios Review. His spokesperson said the social media team, including James, follows back and engages with supporters who have large followings and does not investigate their backgrounds. James has never subscribed to OnlyFans or an escort service. Okay, well, I don't know that anybody accused him of subscribing to an OnlyFans or escort service. JT, but nice dodge. We can read through. So let's get the story straight. Our man, can I call him pastor? Senator. Leads with his faith, leads with his integrity, his stardom, and he likes some baddies on Instagram. No big deal. We've all been on our search page. We know. I don't want you to look at my search page. None of us want to, you want to see something.
I have no
about
idea
a
what
man.
you're talking about.
Dan, on our morning call, Dan's like, at my age, when you do this, your algorithm will feed you things sometimes.
I'm a male.
Like, all right, Dan, we got it. Trust me. I know what you're getting and why you're getting it, okay? That's like, we don't need the CIA. We just need people's Instagram search pages. That's all you need. Your For You,
but people
your
don't
suggested
realize
page.
everything shows up when you like it or follow someone. It shows up to your other followers.
Well, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level, right? Like, there's like what you look at, and then there's what you follow, which apparently James Tallarico follows some. By the way, you want some more details? The details are pretty good. I think I have it right here. By the way, I'm not going to lie. I clicked through. I wanted to know exactly what James was looking at and what he was into. So, real quick, Dan, I know you got something here, but I've got the details. Where is it? Honky Tonk Angels was one of his favorites.
Honky Tonk Angels.
It's one. And you know what I like about him into Honky Tonk Angel? She wasn't typical. You're not talking about your Playboy model. She looked
plain Jane?
Achievable, James. Yeah. I see what you're doing. James. Simply 250,000 followers, probably located somewhere in the greater Texas region. I got it. I see what you're doing, James.
Low follower count.
Not a 9 or 10, but more like a 6 or a 7. I see what you're doing, James.
Slide in the DMs.
Excuse me,
there.
Pastor. And so then this is my favorite. Okay, then this is the Tallarico spokesperson's response. While James was unaware of how these women make money, he does not judge them for it. Oh, let's shift it to the ladies. And will not play into an effort to smear them for clickbait articles. That's exactly what Christian faith follows him to do. This is a logical pretzel. I got to make sure. We are all interested in the fact that a dude running for Senate that runs his faith forward, that says he's full of integrity, and he's the new star of Democratic parties. We're all focused on the fact that he likes some honky-tonk angels, that perfectly accessible 6 out of 10 in Central Texas. And they flip it. Don't you dare talk bad about honky-tonk angel. We don't judge. This is what our Christian faith demands.
They're sex workers.
While James was unaware of how these women make money, he was unaware, okay? He doesn't judge them. No. And he will not play into your effort to smear these ladies for clickbait articles. Can I just tell you something, James? And Team Tallarico, nobody's happier today than Honky Tonk Angel. Her traffic is through the roof. Right now, the OnlyFans subscriptions are going up. She's not smeared. She's happy. She's raking it in today. That's exactly what his Christian faith calls him to do. And thus we get to the crux of the issue. Thus we get to it. I don't care that Mr. Tallarico likes the baddies on Instagram. Like some of the dudes out there, like I've seen the lefties writing about it. This makes me like him more. Why? Because he's a normal dude? Yeah, okay. I get it. Yeah. But he's also a fraud. And that's the part that matters. Not the part of him boosting the OnlyFans business of Honky Tonk Angel, Giselle Palmer, I believe. Wouldn't know, but did happen to click through just to see. I really appreciate Alex Thompson giving you the links to all the ones he's into that James followed. There's 10 of them, by the way. Now, the issue is your Christian faith may follow you not to judge them, but your Christian faith doesn't compel you to subscribe, like, and search them out on Instagram. I think that's pretty clear. I think that your Christian faith may forgive you for your lustful impulses, but you don't get to just shift the burden. You, my friend, are what we always knew. You are a fraud. You're a fraud. That's the point of this story. Not anything more. It ain't about Honky Tonk Angel, and it ain't about your Christian faith compelling you not to smear them for their living. It's about you using your Christian faith as a shield and using it as a flag that you fly, like an advertising banner that you don't live up to. And the bottom line is what we know to be true now. You, my friend, are a fraud. All right. So, is Jack Posobiec with us yet?
We have him, but we're getting some audio issues. We're trying to see if he can hear us. Is the thing?
Really?
Yeah. I'm working with their people. People are suggesting in our chat, actually, while we wait for this to happen, that maybe Will and the producers should share their For You pages on Instagram. Sounds scary.
Let's just see how bad it is right now. Sometimes it's you want a quick flash of it on screen.
Yeah,
no, I'm not gonna do that.
No, don't do that. It's because of our gender and our our ages.
But
I'm into some weird stuff, so I can't share it.
Ooh, tell us more, Pat.
No, I don't think I will. It's not public domain.
You're into some
nothing
weird
with the ladies.
Stuff. Oh. You like dudes?
It's conspiracy theory stuff.
No, metaphysical.
I'm trying to figure out what he's saying. Metaphysical, right. Totally. That's definitely what you're hiding from us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Maybe you can sort it out with Jack Posobiec. We've got Congressman Riley Moore and Jack Posobiec coming up if we can work out our technical issues. When we come back on Will Cain Country. Welcome back to Will Cain Country at the Will Cain Country YouTube channel, Spotify, and on Apple. We're working on our audio with Jack Posobiec of Human Events. He's got, by the way, some latest details on the trial of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. Pretty fascinating details. We hope to get to Jack Posobiec coming up in just a little bit, but we got to get his audio figured out. We've also got Congressman Riley Moore coming up. There's some conversation about West Virginia annexing, 10 counties in Virginia? Although you can't. It's a big deal, but all of these counties in Virginia that no longer fit politically into a state that elects Jay Jones as Attorney General. Maybe they're more at home in West Virginia. It'd be pretty interesting to redraw. California's been trying to do this for years. Like, can we split it? Can you make it 3 states? Of course you can't without congressional approval, because then you'd have. But this is different because you're not adding senators or anything like that. But if we actually redrew straight state lines for cultural cohesion, I think that would be. I'd love it. Like, who's in, who's out. Can we draw a little circle around James Tallarico and say, is he in or is he out, by the way? Everybody's a fraud, and nobody wants their Instagram search page revealed to the public. Not all of us are running for office on our integrity and pushing our Christian faith out front while following Honky Tonk Angel on OnlyFans. But, maybe that makes him one of us. Maybe it means we need to cut him out of Texas. I don't know. All right, Jack Posobiec, the editor-in-chief of Human Events, or senior editor at Human Events, and also the author of Bulletproof, The Truth About the Assassination Attempts of Donald Trump, is with us now. Jack, can you hear us?
Will, I've got you. How are you?
We got you, Jack. Sweet. We worked it out.
Will, I've got you. How are you?
We might have a little delay. I'm good. Yeah, we got a big delay, Jack, so I'll try to ask, smooth questions and then just let you take it over. But I do want to just take you up on something I know you know a lot about, and that's the latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination trial. What's going on there? I know you have a lot of good details.
Well, Will, thanks so much. Now, the first thing, and just so everybody knows, I'm actually coming in. I'm here at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we just finished up outside, but it's raining. We're at the memorial service, and so we've come back in here. We're getting some lunch. We're going to be sitting down with some generals in a little bit for today's 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps, the birthday here in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. But when it comes to the Charlie trial, the latest that we've heard, and Erica spoke out about this as well, the defense lawyers for the suspect, Tyler Robinson, have now put forward a motion to ban cameras from the courtroom. And this is something where you can imagine that a lot of people have come out and said that's crazy, because obviously with this being done at the state level, not the federal level, that means that cameras should be rolling. And in fact, Utah as a state has a rule on their books. It's Rule 41.4 that says there is a presumption that the proceedings will be made public to include electronic device recording, which means, of course, cameras in this day and age. And so they're trying to shut down cameras from the entire proceedings. That's something obviously I oppose. I issued a direct letter to the court through Human Events talking about that. Erica Kirk herself came out in an interview last week on Fox saying that she opposes it as well, because, and the quote that she gave I thought was so powerful, because she wants everyone to see the face of true evil. And so, obviously the case needs to be proved in court. The evidence needs to come out. But when you look at some of the things that have been coming out, the furry, sort of strange relationship between this, the defendant, Tyler Robinson, and his trans furry partner, Lance Twiggs, questions about obsessive use of drugs and ChatGPT and gaming and this furry lifestyle. There's really a lot that I think we all need to hear about. We need to hear the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk, and the public deserves to see the answers.
I totally agree. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, because as you know, Jack, there's just a lot going on, a lot of questions. You could call some of it conspiracy about what actually went down with Charlie. I think the more light, the more transparency, the better. The better to, I don't live anymore in a world where I think everybody's getting on the same page. People will always be able to see what they want to see, but at least let them see as much as possible, and then everybody can make up their own minds. Also because of what Erica said. She told Jesse Waters in her interview with him, the whole world got to see Charlie's murder. So they might as well also see the trial of his murderer. And, Jack, Erica well. One of the things that I really was shocked when she talked to Jesse was she said, although the whole world hasn't seen it or has seen it, she hasn't seen the video of Charlie being murdered. And I just thought to myself, man, how much that would take so much effort to make sure that doesn't, scroll across your algorithm. She really showed a lot of fortitude if she's been able to avoid actually seeing that awful day.
Well, Will, that's right. And to be clear, so even though Erica said that she didn't see the footage, she did, however, also go into that hospital in Salt Lake City. And she talked about this as well, where she, went to the officers and they said, man, we actually don't recommend that you go in there. Wait till a mortician sees him. Wait till the funeral parlor. They clean him up. They prepare the body. They do their work. And she said no. And she said, I want to see what they did to my husband. And she did actually go in and see Charlie's body, and then of course talked about that during the interview. And so it doesn't surprise me that she didn't see it on social media. One of the things she told me, told us, really, in the midst of all this, that she kind of got off of social media. She hasn't been looking at scrolling and doing things. And so she's, people will send her things here and there, but it's not like she's out there just looking at stuff on her own as much as she would in the past. Right. And really it's a blessing and a curse in a sense, because it's a blessing that she's able to control what she can and has to control her life and the life of her children, right? The life of their little boy and their little girl, who now will go on without a father. And she released a video of them, a couple of days ago, just this video of their daughter singing "Jesus Loves Me" to their son, who's he's very little, he's about 1, and she's trying so hard to focus on them and cut out all of the insanity that's going on. And so that's why I'm happy to say, look, I'll take on the insanity. I'll take on whatever's going out publicly. You focus on family and obviously being that guide and guiding rock and touchstone for the Turning Point organization. I mean, she's taking so much up on her plate that I thank God that he's blessed her with the strength to be able to do that, because I don't know many people that could.
I want to get your reaction to a couple different news stories, Jack, and then I have a question for you specifically. First of all, Nancy Pelosi has announced she's not running for re-election. She's 85 years old. The headline in the New York Post reads as follows: Nancy Pelosi made $130 million in stock profits during Congress career. It's a return of 16,930%. That's a hell of a... I'd love to know what Warren Buffett's return is over that same time period. Here's some of the details. She came in 1987. She was 47 years old. Paul Pelosi is a venture capitalist. At the time, they reported a net worth of around $610,000. And now that portfolio has soared to $133 million. 38 years in Congress. This is what she's done. Almost 17,000% return. Your thoughts, Jack?
Well, Nancy Pelosi is someone who grew up inside the political system. There's a lot of people who don't know that her father was a very, very powerful Democrat politician in his own right. He was the mayor of Baltimore before she moved out to San Francisco. So she grew up in the political process. And so she understood from, an indelible level how the system works. And I mean, come on, Will, if there's any city that is known for cleanliness and its lack of corruption, it's certainly Baltimore and Baltimore mayors. There's a great HBO show about it. It's called The Wire. And so she's always known how corruption can work in politics, and she's turned that into a business. And really, I think it's something where, look, I'm not afraid to say that I completely agree with AOC on this, that it just shows you how corrupt our system has become. It shows you that these guys are looting the country as they drive us into decline. They understand that it's the fall of Rome. They understand that they're presiding over the fall of Rome and the rise of the Zora Mondami, the barbarians. But what they're doing is they're extracting as much capital, as much economic resources as they can from the system so that they get theirs and we get nothing. The rest of us get absolutely nothing. So I actually love the fact that this conversation is being had, that people are talking about this, because you go back 5 years, you go back 10 years, this was a completely verboten topic, because the dirty little secret is there's just as many Republicans that are on board with doing the exact same thing as her.
So, Jack, it's been great to see you showing up more and more on Fox. I think it's really good for Fox. And I'd like to think that we were one of the first places to I mean, you've been on for years, but to see you more recently and to hear you more in depth, I think is just really good. I asked this question to the vice president, and I want to ask this question to you as well. What do you think is the number one issue? Like the number one thing that you would like to focus on, that you wish the country would focus on for the health of the United States?
Well, that's a great question. I wish I could break it up into two, but since you said no, then one, I would say it's the economy. That is the most significant pressing issue on us right now. And when I say the economy, I don't necessarily mean the GDP. I don't necessarily mean the stock market, the S&P 500, NASDAQ futures, etc., all of that. No. I'm talking about the economic conditions of the average man and woman in this country. And when you have the economic conditions of the average American that have gone down, they've absolutely gone down. We have a massive debt spike in this country. It's not just student debt, it's also housing debt. When you have that, it creates the conditions that I wrote about in my book last year on the rise of communist revolutions. It creates the conditions for instability. It creates the conditions that give you the Weimar Republic, that give you the Bolshevik Revolution in Tsarist Russia when all of the serfs came up. And so the secondary corollary to that is, I think, that not only do we have to get our money right to fix those economic conditions, but one of the major downward pressure forces in this country, deflationary forces on wages, on housing, on economy, on healthcare, and all of it is the massive influx of illegal aliens in this country, as well as, questions that probably should be raised about some of these legal visa scams that have been so corrupted and blocking so many people from getting jobs. If you take that massive number of people that shouldn't be here in this country out of the system, then suddenly it relieves the pressure on the system so wages can go up, you have better access to healthcare, better access to housing, better access to education. All of these systems were not designed for the amount of people that have come in that shouldn't be here in the first place. And because they are, they're doing so in a way where they're not contributing as much as they are receiving. And study after study comes out supporting this. And so these are the major issues. And by the way, Zoran Mondani completely understands that. The Democrats completely understand that. But their prescriptions, their policy prescriptions for these economic problems and the economic conditions are not collaborative, they're not instructive, they're not building. They want to tear down, they want to destroy, they want to disrupt, because this is what the Marxist always does. They go to people who say, you've got a bad lot in life, how can we fix that? Look at this guy, look at these rich people, look at these affluent people, we're going to tear down everything they have. And obviously in many cases in past revolutions, it's been very bloody, it's very, very lethal. It's led to 100 million people killed around the world. But who benefits from this? It's those communist leaders in the first place. So my thought is, how do you stop a communist revolution before it even gets off the ground? You got to focus on the economic conditions.
So interesting. The second part is what I would have answered. And not that you're wrong about the economy. I think you're absolutely right. And the second part is what the vice president answered as well. It's you have to have common cause in a nation. Otherwise, you don't have a nation state. You're not just a transactional corporate environment. It's not just you're not just here to get rich. You're not just here to we're not here to bring the best of the best in the world to America, and we're not here just to simply increase our personal net worth. We have to have something more that we're a part of. And whether or not legal or illegal immigration, we have to have the assurity that everyone that comes here is in on that common project. And by the way, the people that are born here increasingly don't understand the common project. And so I feel like that's the biggest loss we have going right now, and everything else is downstream from that. But that being said, the thing that you describe about the economy is absolutely true, and Mamdani's rise reflects that. How would we know what the Democrats would say. Okay, well, we're going to make things, quote unquote, more affordable for you, which means we're going to give more away, more health care, more food benefits, whatever it may be. How would you do it? How would you help the middle class and working man in America not get left behind it's true, we have a growing wage inequality gap, and that is a condition for revolution. So how do you do it under your philosophy as opposed to the philosophy they put forward of giving more away?
Well, that's right. And Will, for the record, what I was trying to say is I don't necessarily think they're separate issues, because the reason the economic conditions are bad is because of the mass immigration. So in a way, they're kind of actually, two dynamics that are playing out in tandem. So number one, the first thing you've got to do, rip off the Band-Aid. We need the mass deportations. The mass deportations absolutely have to happen. And to be sure, they have been turned on. But you've got to let people see it, and you've got to make people feel it, because that will open up so much of the housing market. It'll open up so much of those jobs, and it will decrease the competition. Think of it. An American worker currently today, thanks to outsourcing, thanks to remote work, you now have to compete with every single other worker on the face of the planet. So one of the things right off the bat that I was pushing earlier this year, and it got some traction and sort of stalled out a little bit, tax the outsourcing, right? So if you're a company that's hiring a remote worker, and by the way, I called it a tariff, and of course people are getting so mad. Oh, it's technically not a tariff. It's like, shut up. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have a company that's hiring people at one of these data centers anywhere in the world, well, that means you're hiring cheap foreign labor and putting that ahead of American worker. But your company is incorporated in the United States, which means you're benefiting from the American system, you're benefiting from American courts, you're benefiting from American security, you're benefiting from American general stability, and yet you're not paying in because you're hiring workers overseas. Now, the founding fathers, of course, didn't have this issue because we didn't have the internet and virtual spaces and virtual work environments and things like this. So how do you correct that inequality? You throw a tariff on that. You throw a tariff on every single worker that's coming in from overseas and every single worker that is remote based. And now suddenly you've got a direct ability to create an incentive for these companies to say, well, you know what, maybe it's actually not worth all the hassle. I'll just hire an American. And what does that do for Americans? It gives you more access to employment and it will increase wages. Same deal with, so mass deportations, tariff on the outsourcing, tariff the remote workers. Then you go to the very next piece of it. And I could go on and on for years about this, but you've got to be able to look into these programs, specifically H-1B, which does affect the middle class.
Don't you worry? Okay, low-skilled workers first of all, and then I think also the H-1Bs as a secondary thing. I agree with what you said, but I also worry that in 5 to 10 years, a lot of this is for naught, in that we will see AI, and then not very long after that, robotics replace low-skilled jobs. And then you could say, well, you know, there'll be new jobs, and those new jobs are in programming or whatever they are, in entrepreneurial aspects of robotics and AI, in which case you go, well, then don't bring H-1B guys in because we need those to be American jobs. But I'm also worried about this social instability and inequality separate from the immigration issue as technology eradicates, destroys an entire segment of our working population.
Will, that's such a good point you bring up, because we keep hearing over and over that we need more low-skilled immigration, and yet at the same time, when robotics and automation take over, suddenly those are the first jobs they're going to go after, and then AI is going to go after these H-1B, you know, higher-skilled, quote-unquote, jobs. So you're going to have these massive pressures coming in. That's why you need to protect the American worker. Full stop. You need to be able to protect that American worker. I'm someone, by the way, I love the idea of this Patriot, Patriot dividends from the tariffs. I love this idea. I think the Patriot dividend is absolutely something that should be put forward. I know the president has suggested this with tariff stimulus. Whatever the mechanism is to get it out there, absolutely he should be getting it out there. And I think Republicans should make this possibly a #1 issue going into the midterms. And you're going to continue to have, look, if we've got a system of globalization, if we've got a system whereby the elites are getting fabulously wealthy off of all of this, I'm not necessarily opposed to the innovation side of it, because I'm a capitalist at the end of the day. But at the same time, where's the benefit that's being felt by the average person? That's where the Patriot dividends can come in. And by the way, in addition to that, creating programs directly aimed at Gen Z, directly aimed at young people who are trying to get into the system where they're starting out. So that means, first-time home buyer loans and credits, especially if you're newlyweds, the ability to see tax write-offs for as you have children within your marriage. So, each kid is 25% up to the first 4, etc. There's Poland and Hungary are doing this, by the way. It also helps with the birth rate. In addition to all of that, and really some abilities for it. I don't know exactly how I feel about the 50-year home loans. I've heard good arguments for, good arguments against, but I like the fact that people are trying to get more people invested in the system, because if the more people you get invested in the system, now suddenly they have the ability to feel that they have an ownership stake in America. And if, for example, if the United States government is going to be getting 10% of IBM, then does that mean the United States citizen should get a fraction of the stock that their government now owns, or perhaps a dividend from that as well? These are the types of questions and policies that we should be looking at, because if we're doing it by deal, then okay, where's the direct input and access to that equity and to that ownership for the American citizen?
All right, I'm glad we fought through the audio issues. Thanks for hanging out with us, Jack. I know you got a big day there for Veterans Day and the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. But we love having you on the show, even with the delay. So thanks for hanging out with us, Jack Posobiec.
God bless, Will. Thank you so much.
All right. He's senior editor at Human Events. Check him out. He's often on War Room as well. Hey, really quickly, Ken Burns, noted documentarian, was talking about Republicans defunding Corporation for Public Broadcasting and National Public Radio. And he's really concerned about what that means for rural Americans. Watch.
It's a big deal. They killed the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Incredibly short-sighted. It'll hurt mostly rural communities. Maybe that's their intention. There'll be news deserts. Nobody will be covering the school board or the city council meeting. They'll miss not only the children's and primetime programming, but they'll miss, Homeland Security stuff, continuing education, classrooms of the air, warning stuff that comes from the PBS signal.
So I've lived in every rural area that you can possibly imagine. I lived in rural Montana, rural Texas, grew up in rural Texas. Let me just tell you, nobody listens to NPR. Nobody listens to NPR. You live in a day and age where everything you want is on your phone. Every piece of information, you are absolutely not at an information deficit. There's no such thing as a news desert. The last thing you need is NPR to what? What?
Nobody listens to NPR?
You big NPR guy?
No, but I mean, maybe.
Nobody. Yeah, nobody. Nobody in the rural areas that I'm talking about. He's saying there'll be a news desert. I mean, it is completely and utterly unnecessary, and it's only a mechanism to ensure that a one-sided point of view makes its way in to the deepest, most remote parts of America. Congressman Riley Moore is a Republican from West Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, and he joins us now on Will Cain Country. Hey, Congressman.
Hey, Will. How you doing?
I'm good. You probably are you rural West Virginia? Is there urban West Virginia? And did you need NPR?
Everything in West Virginia is rural. The largest city we have in West Virginia is 50,000 people.
Is it really? The largest city in West Virginia is 50,000.
Yep.
I grew up in Sherman, Texas, 30,000 at the time, and it was definitely one of the smaller cities in Texas. Not the smallest. I mean, I lived in cities with 2,000 people for a while.
But that put you in the top in West Virginia.
I was a big city boy. In West Virginia. Hey, how about this proposal? Some West Virginia state senator wants to annex a good portion of Western Virginia, bring that into West Virginia. I saw the map. It's a big chunk of Virginia they want to bring over to West Virginia.
Yeah, Senator Chris Rose has been talking about that. Interestingly, we've discussed this a number of times. Western Maryland, at one point, actually, their delegates had sent letters to their capital in Annapolis saying, we would like to leave Maryland and come to West Virginia, Garrett County and Allegheny County, which we would absolutely welcome them. The interesting one, though, is Frederick County, Virginia. Going to take everybody back to right after the Civil War. The bordering counties of Virginia all got to hold a referendum to see if they wanted to join West Virginia. Frederick County, Virginia, which is Winchester, never actually held their referendum. That law still sits on the books. So that'd be one county, actually, we might be able to get if the state legislature in Virginia would allow them to hold the referendum.
What would it take, for that to happen, to redraw the state lines? Would Virginia have to, the counties don't get just to decide. I mean, the West Virginia state legislature, I'm sure, would have to approve it. And the Virginia state legislature would also have to let them go. And then is there any federal oversight? I know that if you're drawing a new state in the way that California's wanted to do several times, split itself into two, that's never going to work. It would take federal approval. Would you have to have federal approval on the West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia thing?
Yes. Ultimately, so the two states would have to agree, and then you would have to have federal approval of it. But yeah, ultimately, federal approval's there. The one interesting case is that county in Virginia, though, Frederick, because they didn't hold the referendum, and they still actually could if they wanted to join West Virginia, which we're happy to take them. But look, the easier thing is, instead of grabbing counties, just leave Virginia, come to best Virginia, where we're actually living free and you don't have to worry about all this woke culture nonsense that you're battling over there in Arlington and Fairfax. We got it all. You just come on over here, low cost of living, great people, God's country.
Congressman, I know this has been an issue that you've been on top of. President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social over the weekend, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I'm hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. but that is the least of it. He references you. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. So, first, what are you going to do, Congressman, when he asks you to look into this issue?
Well, first and foremost, obviously, we've had a lot of information flows in between my office and people who are actually on the ground, and in groups who are on the ground that have been informing a lot of the facts that we've been putting out there. So we're going to come up with a number of suggestions based on this country particular concern designation, which allows 15 different levers to then be open for the president, going from sanctioning individuals to organizations to also withholding foreign aid, military aid, such as train and equip, things like that. We've had over $2 billion in arms sales. Billions of dollars have gone over to the Nigerians in the thought and also guarantee from them that they would defeat and go fight Boko Haram with this security assistance that we've been providing to them over many, many years, and they've not done that. So we're going to have a number of different suggestions that we are going to provide to the president, and some ground truth that we're going to be able to give to him. We've also been working with his State Department already, NSC, and in constant contact with the White House on this. Obviously, the president has mentioned me as leading this because it's something I've been so vocal about over the last several months. In some ways, really heavy on my heart. Obviously, our brothers and sisters in Christ being murdered and martyred in the most dangerous country in the world for Christians, which is Nigeria, and seeing our brothers and sisters just face the worst type of death that you can imagine, some burned alive in churches. Every single week there's something happening, all for the very simple reason all they have done is profess their belief in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which is absolute tragedy that they're facing this. So we do have to stand up to this. I believe this is a genocide that's happening. I just had a call earlier today with a bunch of Nigerian activists and also different faith leaders within the Christian communities there. So we're getting a lot of information for the president, and once we have that packaged up, we're going to go up there and talk to him.
Isn't there some indication the Nigerian government has started to do a little more to address the issue, perhaps under the pressure of the United States or the increased attention or the threat, as you pointed out, with some of the money that's sent to Nigeria? Has there been a little action on behalf of the government in Nigeria?
There's been a little bit of action, but I'm not sure how much of that is window dressing and virtue signaling on their part. But that's something that we're going to get to the bottom of. And it does seem that we're going to have a meeting with the Nigerian government here in the coming weeks, myself and other members of Congress and also the White House. And so we'll be pressing them very hard on what type of metrics that they view for success versus what our metrics of success are, which is preventing the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. So, yeah, they've made some, I'd say, positive noises, but I need to see a little bit more positive action. I know the president does as well.
Is there any appetite, Congressman? I mean, I think the president posted this as well at one time, like, for any type of American military presence in Nigeria?
Well, the president, as you know, has put all options on the table, as he always does. He is not going to restrict or restrain himself in trying to get a peaceable solution in any type of country that he's been involved with. They're talking about 8 different peace deals at this point, which President Trump is certainly the peace and prosperity president. So military kinetic action is something that is on the table. What Assassination that will take, what that would look like, is certainly going to be determined by the response of the Nigerians. But what I'd say is this is a great opportunity for the Nigerian government, President Tinubu, to actually form a deeper and strengthened relationship with the United States by protecting our brothers and sisters in Christ in that country, and actually have a better working relationship than obviously we currently do right now. So this doesn't have to be all sticks. There can be carrots involved in this as well, Will. But it's going to be up to the Nigerian government, President Tinubu, if they would like to take that path rather than the other one. But President Trump's been clear, we're not going to allow this to happen.
All right, before we go, Congressman, I was going to listen to this a little bit earlier with Jack Posobiec, but I want to do this with you right now. This is Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson talking about ICE deportations in the city of Chicago, and he's asking for outside help. Listen to this.
We cannot do this work alone, though. And that is why I call on this council to hold the federal government of the United States to the same standards of accountability you apply elsewhere in the world. No country should be above international law. Human rights are universal, or they are meaningless.
Congressman, he's calling on the UN to get involved and step in against the United States government in the city of Chicago.
I'm sorry to laugh. It's just the most laughable thing I've ever heard in my life. If he's looking for outside help, he might want to seek a psychiatrist. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I guess kind of a cool talking point for your Democrat, liberal, globalist elites out there that think we should have some world governance project, but it's ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd.
It sounds a little insurrection-y to me. I mean, you're calling for an outside government body to step in against the United States government for policies, by the way, that are democratically approved and voted on by Congress being implemented in the city of Chicago. And he doesn't like it. So he's asking what? UN peacekeeping
just
forces
so happens,
to drop into the south side of Chicago?
Yeah, just so happens to be they're implementing the law. Just so happens to just be the law in the United States, law of the land. This isn't some extrajudicial anything. It's just laughable, really. I mean, and it shouldn't be, because he's not a serious person, but he obviously, in the pauses that he's taking, feels like it's a very serious and profound statement that he's making. But it's a joke. It's obviously a joke, as many of the left are a joke. And as we've seen right now in this whole deal that just got done in Congress, the whole thing was a joke to begin with. And we're right where we started at the beginning, which they could have just opened it up many, many days ago. But now here we are.
Yeah, before we go, what are we supposed to make of this? I mean, now the Democrats make a deal all of a sudden, and it's no advancement whatsoever. And we suffered through what it ended up being 38 days of a government shutdown.
Yeah, my favorite part of this is the leaderless Senate Democrats who Chuck Schumer is clearly not in charge over there, and just not voting for this. And some of these Democrats who are more moderate just had enough. They've had enough of it. They got past the elections. Clearly, this was about elections, which were totally overblown, by the way. I think it's time for the political consultants to update the slide deck on Virginia and stop just changing the date. It is a blue state. Only 2 states in America have gotten more blue since 2016. It's Washington State and Virginia. Just it's not going to happen. Okay, so I don't think it's any kind of bellwether or anything like that for the upcoming midterm elections. But obviously, to them, it mattered enough to be able to pump up the turnout there and have a good showing and keep the government shut down. And unfortunately, it demonstrated that there is no length to which the Democrats are willing to go to inflict pain and suffering on the American people for their own political purposes and objectives, which denying them food stamps and SNAP benefits and WIC and all the like, just so they could go win a couple elections, which in my view, they were going to win anyway.
All right, Congressman Riley Moore of West Virginia. Always good to have you on the program. Thank you for your time today, Congressman.
Will, thank you for your time. And if you ever need a WVU Mountaineers hat down there in your helmet in your collection, you just let me know. We'll get you Mountaineers helmet. I mean, you got Big 12 guys in there, and I don't see the Mountaineers.
I need it, so we'll send you the address. You can just send one on over. We'll get it on the table.
We're going to send
Thank
you
you,
one, all
Congressman.
right?
All right, sounds good. Take care, Congressman Riley Moore. Thank you. 2 days, Dan, tinfoil Pat, Ed. Before we go today, I want to listen to one more thing. So Jimmy Kimmel's wife is very upset about the way things have gone, not just with her husband in the country, but within her family. She's very, very upset with members of her family for the way that they've supported or not supported Jimmy. Listen.
It hurts me so much because of the personal relationship I now have, where my husband is out there fighting this man. And to me, them voting for Trump is them not voting for my husband and me and our family. And I unfortunately have kind of lost relationships with people in my family because of it. This is not just Republican versus Democrat for me anymore. Mm-hmm. It is, to me, it's family values. And it's really hard for me because I grew up believing in these Christian ideals of taking care of the sick and taking care of the poor. And I don't see that happening with this Republican Party.
You know what's interesting about that? And you know, I have some liberal members of my family. I'm sure we all do, right? I mean, we got Dan on the show.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And Ed, is that right?
Wow, Ed.
Oh, Ed said he's middle of the road, 6'7". He did the 6'7" thing.
Gee,
Did you guys see the president yesterday?
Bring that in.
Did you? So the president did his interview with the Washington Commanders game. I'm sure you guys all saw it, right? 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you guys see it? On social media, at least.
Clips.
Yeah, it's fine. It's innocuous. You know, meaning it's not super political. I mean, he did say stuff like, we were in terrible shape a year ago. It's the thing he always says, right? We're killing it now. And I mean, I saw it posted on social media, and the comments in the sports world, like, this is the worst ever. You know, how dare they? But the worst ever from the interview was Jonathan Vilma, you know, who was the analyst. Who was it? Was it Kevin Burkhardt? Kevin Burkhardt and Jonathan Vilma in the booth with him. And multiple times during the interview, Vilma tried to shove in. He did shove in 6'7". Did you guys see it?
I didn't see that.
Not subtly.
I hate it.
Oh, not subtly. Like he said to the president, he goes, they were asking about his football career, and he played tight end. And he goes, we tried to look up your stats. How many touchdowns did you have, Mr. President? Was it 6, 7, 6, 7? Oh, yeah. He did that. And the president, nothing. Like, I don't think he has any idea at all.
Not on his radar.
About 6, 7. And then he did it a second time. And it's so shoehorned in. It's so forced. I'm like, who is Vilma doing this for? Is he like
a social
doing
clip.
It for the audience to ensure that
a viral clip?
This is a social clip?
Yeah. He's trying to go viral.
But I don't think it works for him.
No.
Yeah. In an interview with the president. I'm like, dude, how many interviews do you get with the president? And you are going to shove in 2, 6, 7 moments? And they're not funny. They're not.
Because I
don't think 6, 7 is funny.
Think of the video. It's just like
funny.
Trump reacts to 6, 7 or something like that. You know, that's what he was going for.
Have you guys seen the story that some schools are banning kids from doing 6, 7 because it's such a distraction in class? Like you get in trouble. I don't know, middle schools.
My kid's school is already banned it.
Because
are they homeschooled?
Really? They banned it?
They're in a hybrid, yeah.
Yeah, so your wife?
Yeah.
So your wife put the hammer down? You're suspended from homeschool if you do 6,
this
7?
here.
I guess why is it so disruptive? Because one kid does it and then the whole class starts going 6, 7, 6, 7. Is that what happens?
It's
I
like
don't even
absurd.
know.
It's like
when I was growing up, numbers meant something.
It's like hive mind. Just all I can't even
that's the thing. It's so mindless, so meaningless, and yet so viral that it does make it like hive mind. Like you just plant this thing and everybody has to do it, and they start saying 6, 7.
It's a mind
6,
virus.
7.
And I saw a clip of people waiting for 6, 7 at like an In-N-Out burger, and I'm like, normal people would just wait for 2 more numbers, but these people were freaking out over 6, 7, and it was just, the whole place goes crazy.
It comes from a rap song. It's stupid.
Well, barely. I mean, I don't. It's Skrilla's, right? Skrilla's. I don't think many people even know that.
I know.
Like
he was on Shane Gillis's podcast and asked about it.
I had no idea.
And what?
He said that.
Who had no idea?
Skrilla. Most people don't know, and Shane Gillis asked Skrilla, was like, "Do you know that 6, 7 came from your song?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you get mad that you don't get credit for it?" He's like, "No, I just like that it's out there. My album sales are through the roof."
Really?
Yeah.
Through the roof, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Honky Tonk Angel, like her OnlyFans going.
She just gained 100,000 followers today. No, I'm kidding.
Did you look at that? Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
from our show.
You should look it up. I guarantee she has. I don't know on what OnlyFans or Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah, Dan, make sure to look it up.
I will not look that up. because
Right on the work computer.
my entire For You page will just be screwed. No pun
I'll do it.
intended.
I don't care. And all
Use the
you
Will Cain
dirty
show
people
count.
watching have already done it. I know you did it during the B block.
everyone in
You
the
guys are
chat.
like,
Like, who's this, huh?
honky-tonk? I know you did. Don't you even lie. Let's go to the comments and just see.
Yeah.
Jennifer Stewart. Hello, glad to find Will Cain Country. I DVR you at 3 p.m. Central. Thank you for your OU helmet on the desk. You're welcome, Jennifer. Here's Thomas Brady. Tallarico understands what any man who has ever achieved a niche internet fame. All apps are dating apps.
That's so true. It's very true. I mean, I don't know that.
Let's see.
But-
Is it? Yeppy says he digs my shirt. Thank you, Born Primitive, my boy. And then Fannie Mae says Democrats got low grades in U.S. history, government, and civics by the looks of it. Wouldn't that be interesting to see? Like how everybody did in those
That'd be a
classes
great
by
video.
political affiliation.
Or just now.
That would be great.
Their knowledge now. Go up to like a congressman and just interview them. Do they know certain things about the government? Fascinating.
I want to know if they know Honky Tonk Angel. Do you guys know Honky Tonk Angel?
Not before this segment.
I'm pushing her numbers up right now. Says Ed says I'm boosting.
She's
her.
going to
her
owe you
numbers.
commission.
She deserves it. Do you know why she deserves it? Because like James Tallarico, I do not judge her for how she makes a living. I will not play into an effort to smear her for clickbait articles. This is exactly what my Christian faith calls me to do. I read directly from James Tallarico.
Just like Jesus.
Here's my question for you guys to take this full circle. I got some libs in my world. I don't know of a single person that feels like Jimmy Kimmel's wife. I don't know of a single conservative or Republican who says, I just can't be around my family like this anymore. I can't get along with them. I feel like it's a personal affront. It's like they're voting against me when they vote for Gavin Newsom or whatever. I may laugh at them. We may debate a little bit, but I really think this is asymmetrical. This is one-sided. The way Jimmy Kimmel's wife is talking, and I think there's something to that. You should really think about that. Like why she has internalized politics so much that she has to abandon her family if they don't vote the way she votes.
So dumb.
Am I wrong? Do you guys see it the other way?
I mean, I do. Like Republicans that can't be around Democrats, you mean?
Yeah.
I hear that.
Well,
I do.
I think, well, friendship is one thing. Family's a whole nother. And that's what she's talking about, family.
Like, I was with my family this past weekend, and all my aunts and uncles and a lot of people are conservative. I don't mind being around them.
And?
I work here every day.
And they don't mind being around you.
Exactly. And it was
Shun
fun.
Dan.
Although I play into into what they talk about, though. Like, tell me more about that.
Hey, did you guys watch Death by Lightning like I told you to over the weekend?
My wife didn't want to watch it, but I will watch it when she's in Paris this week.
I was watching another
Pretty
Mel
good.
Gibson movie.
It's about Andrew
It's got a couple lefty things in there.
Garfield.
It's about Andrew Garfield's assassination by Charles Guiteau. And I love that they did it. It's like those little stories, and it's not little, but forgotten stories. That's what its premise is. It's like everybody's forgotten both of these men. And these stories, I mean, he's the least known presidential assassin in American history, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Well, yeah, probably.
For normal people, yeah.
And
For normal people.
for normal people? What do you
Yeah.
mean? You're a big Charles Guiteau fan?
Well, I just know of him. Yeah.
He's an assassination snob.
Right. Just love assassinations. I don't
before
love
we go
them.
today, okay, because it's Will Cain rabbit hole. Charles Guiteau was a member of a community, a very unique community in America. Does anyone know what that community was? I can even tell you the name, and I wonder if you know what it is. I'll tell you the name. The Oneida or Oneida, do you know how? It's upstate New York, Oneida Community.
Like
know what that
Orida,
was?
like the French fries?
Is that one of those unique
No,
groups?
it's the name of, that's a city.
Never heard of it.
I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, yes, like the utensils, like silverware, Oneida, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, so it is a company now, and they do make silverware, I believe. But if you go back, here's the history of that. The Oneida community was a free love community in upstate New York in the 1800s. And at one time they had like 200 to 300 members, and everybody slept with everybody. Everybody was married to everybody. It was free love before the 1960s. And Guiteau was a member there, but he didn't get any action. In fact, Guiteau's nickname was Charles Get Out instead of Guiteau. They would make fun of it, and he had to get out. Nobody would match up with Charles. Yeah, this is a fact. Okay, and that community lasted for a while. And then it incorporated into a stock company where they made all kinds of stuff, because that's what they did. They had a lot of sex with each other, and they made things like hats and dishes or whatever else. But as time went on and the society failed,
Sounds like
they
Quakers.
did incorporate into a company, and they continued to make certain things. Certain products fell away, and the one that really stuck around was silverware. Yep. And now to this day, they make silverware, Oneida. But it was all based upon some free love, baby.
That's right.
By the way, we said
we know James Tallarico. So James, there is a place for you. It was a religious community too, by the way.
we said President Andrew Garfield, the actor from Spider-Man, not James Garfield.
Oh, James Garfield. Yeah, and I just watched 6-7 episodes. 6-7 episodes.
Shut it down. We are not doing it after this episode.
I will. That's going to do it for us today here on Will Cain Country. We hope you will subscribe on Spotify or Apple. Join us again tomorrow at Will Cain Country on YouTube. We'll see you next time.